Poetic!
Weird. You really just...
Got him!
Don't you talk about my mother!
So, I haven't talked about animation in over 3 months. That's a long time. I had to deal with finals, and then I got depressed after. So I decided to distract myself with games for a while. Then I came up with all these different projects to do all at once. Then I just got really depressed, and then I binged a show that was too good for Disney with my friends. And now I'm here. So, there you go. Now you're caught up. So, I want to talk about a show that was cancelled for not being just straight, because Disney's like that, and I mean, I could talk about how this breaks my rules of how I only discuss anime and manga, but that's a lie. I never had a rule like that. Take it or leave it. Anyway.
Too late.
Ow! Oh, I hate it when that happens.
The Owl House, created by Dana Terrace, focuses on the imaginative, weird teenage girl Luz Noceda, as her passion for the fantasy has become a problem that's holding her back, leading to her being recommended to a reality check in the form of a summer camp by her mom. But in both thinking she needs to abandon her love of fantasy and choosing to cling to it, it leads to her being taken to the demon realm by a thieving owl who leads Luz back to an older merchant getting rich off of human collectibles and running from the government, the Owl Lady. Along with a talking housemate named Hootie, the king of demons, and best boy, King, Luz decides to spend her summer at the Boiling Isles, wanting to live out her dreams of being a chosen one while making her mom believe she's having a reality check. Ironically, having a reality check. Between a world where even the rain can eat your skin alive to lore-accurate fairies as the little shits as they are, from understanding human and demon culture to learning magic and understanding oneself, from sexual awakenings to a lesson in anarchism, the Owl House brings to life the world and creatures of dreams and stories alongside a tale of a weird girl finding her own in a weird world. Okay, that's a synopsis. That's definitely what the show is about, but it's a bit more than that, honestly. The Owl House is a fucking masterpiece, even with the treatment. Yeah, if it wasn't obvious, and to the two of you who don't know, this series was cancelled after 2 seasons and given a movie-long special concluding the story. There's been a lot of speculation around its treatment from Disney, but considering Alex Hirsch, the creator of Gravity Falls, would come out with a video about what constitutes as issues with the companies,
Please revise the action of Blubs putting his arm around Derlin. As noted in previous concerns, their affectionate relationship should remain comical versus flirtatious.
Nope. They're buddies. Chill out.
The gesture is approved in this context.
And if you break the rules, we're gonna zap you. Zap, zap! We're mad with power! And love!
I think a lot of the people, myself and friends included, have collectively agreed that it was because of the representation. Yeah, this series has a lot of moments of diversity that is honestly precious. I know starting on show cancelled because gay isn't the best note to play at times, so maybe I should start here. The Owl House is my favorite Disney show, probably ever. Disney never really had shows that I thought were for anyone above the age of 11, and this series for a long time was no exception due to that mindset. I came into the series long after its conclusion, but I've watched it 5 times now, and it has failed to be any less hard-tugging or funny. And despite it being cut short, binging it, I do feel like it was a good enough story to feel complete, even though it does feel like some stuff was ditched for time. I am going to be talking about a lot of spoiler-related stuff in this video. If it looks like something you'd like, I heavily recommend you check it out. If not, there's the door, assuming you didn't ignore this series because it wasn't Asian. I promise after this I'll get back to what people want me to talk about. 14-year-olds being somebody's kink. And people wonder why I took a break from this shit.
I will never understand anime.
The Owl House is an interesting commentary and even satire on the Chosen One stories and how much irony there is to it. Chosen One stories are a tale as old as fiction themselves. We've rescued princesses in the castle, we've killed God, we've dealt with fate, destiny, and prophecy, the lives with roadmaps. But this series utilizes that way of storytelling to showcase how being a Chosen One is kind of a bunch of bullshit. Early on, the series gives this message.
Look, kid, everyone wants to believe they're chosen. But if we all waited around for a prophecy to make us special, we'd die waiting. And that's why you need to choose yourself.
And it falls through to the end, which I'll get in a bit, but for right now, the whole point of a Chosen One story is to make it seem like anyone gullible enough can imagine themselves as that character while making you think you had any choice in the matter whatsoever. When really, you don't. Chosen One stories are always around characters who are needed. You're the only one who can do this. It's all up to you. We need your help. This is what you trained for, and so on and so forth. But when you take a step back and think about it, that's all it amounts to. You have no actual say in the matter because you as a person is entirely irrelevant. You don't choose this life as much as you are pushed into it. It's why it's called the Chosen One story instead of the One Who Chooses story, because you never had any other choice. Luz at the start comes face to face with the Chosen One lifestyle, only to eventually realize it was just one giant act where everything was handed to her on a silver platter. She didn't earn anything, she didn't even work for it. She just did what she was told and cool shit came to her. It's when she decides to work towards her dream that it slowly but surely shows results. So much so that by the end of the story, Luz is given the opportunity to get that very power characters in a Chosen One story would get at the end of a story. But in that moment itself, at the end of the day, it is her choice. And by this time, she's gone through an entire odyssey.
Yes! I am the Chosen One! I knew it! I always suspected there was a reason nobody understood my wacky antics back at home. Now, I have concrete proof!
Are you sure you want to give this power to me?
Well, you're the one here, and you seem like a good witch. But I can't give you anything unless you choose to accept it. So the question is, will you choose yourself?
That's the biggest thing this series focuses on, is the value of choice. But that's not all as well. There's focuses on hubris and being humbled, people who change and people who stay the same, and self-love and understanding. And while the story is mainly around Luz, that's not to say the cast of characters, both minor and major, don't play a great role in their parts. In most shows with a loaded cast, remembering who's who and their role in the story is iffy, but in this, just about every character is memorable. You have memorable character dynamics like Ida, King, Hooty, or Luz, Gus, and Willow, but then the story goes even more further, bringing in characters that seem one note or are only going to be able to be in it once and actually bringing them back in different ways or even having them do something different. Much of that has to do with three factors of storytelling in my opinion. Design, writing, and voicing. For a full-on fantasy world, they really do go all out. Every character has these unique designs, from faces to anatomy, from color profile to visual texture. Most characters focused on have a human-based design to them, but even then, there's all these little details, right down to their attires that help sell their look. And the writing goes a long ways too. The series has a really good balance between being serious and comical. In less than 30 seconds with the first ever episode, this show's tone is put all on display.
Foolish child! I could swallow you whole!
Do not underestimate me, Gildersnake, for I am the good witch Azura, warrior of peace! Now eat this, sucker!
No! My only weakness! Dying!
The first time I saw this, I actually had to stop because I knew this show was for me. And while in some series there really are only a few collect highlights of a show regarding how funny it is, there are so many jokes spread throughout the series mixed in with genuinely great character writing. When a show can turn a joke like a fast food crown into a heartfelt moment and even something you're sad to see go, it's a sign you're watching something special. And it's not just the comedy. The writing for the characters shows its colors the more time goes on without actually saying it a lot of the times. Just about everyone in the end goes through some pretty big changes over the course of the story, and the best part is that a lot of the times it's done through themselves or the people around them. A problem I have with a lot of stories like this, or big epics and so on, is that the story really makes it evident that the main character is sort of their crutch. Nothing can move or change without them. In this, characters you wouldn't even think would change actually are given that time. Everyone's living their lives in this world, and much like life, things just happen and change, whether or not you're a part of it. I think it really helps to make this world and these characters feel as massive and vibrant as this series wants to play it off. The voice acting also goes a long way too. Side characters played by Zeno Robinson, Mela Lee, and even Erica Lindbeck have some really great performances, but when it comes to the main circle, there wouldn't be a loose Ada, King, and Hootie without Sarah Nicole Robles, Wendy Malick, and Alex Hirsch, respectfully. There just wouldn't.
I am not your cutie pie!
Yes, you are.
I know.
Totally normal. Don't come in. I am your mother. You will obey me and die.
All I know is you taught me and I turned out just fine!
Everybody played by these characters has these distinct voices and performances that, at some point, it just fits for them. Right down to the real-world complications, like one of the actors actually going through puberty during the show's run and that being written in.
Wow, Gus!
This is the best day of my life.
Luce, you're okay!
Whoa, Gus! Did I, miss a birthday or something?
Which puberty?
But next to all that is the story, and whereas Season 1 felt more focused towards teaching a lesson, Season 2 really started to take a step back from that in favor of the overarching plot around Bellows, the Titans, and the Collector. Not to say that they couldn't throw in a lesson or two, but you can really tell the focus was more aimed towards the bigger picture more, especially in the latter half. Aside from the Collector, I do feel like the focus around the Titans and Bellows got the shaft on the time spent on them, especially with Bellows, considering the writing really indicated more story into his past and how they sorta never really bothered to answer the whole cloning subject. And then there's whole Titan trappers who get about 2 to 3 appearances and that's it. If we had gotten a proper 3rd season, maybe even a 4th, I feel like that would have had more time to answer that, as opposed to most of the time we got in the end mainly just being about the Collector. Speaking of, probably the best antagonist in the story. The Eldritch Horror god in child form who just wants to have friends but is so detached from reality with his powers due to his ignorance is such a good take.
Toys break all the time. You just fix them.
Do you not understand what death means to mortals?
The kid, in his own way, is like Disney's demographic, right down to not even understanding death. He doesn't know any better, he's unaware of social cues or right or wrong, he uses his powers to stand by King, and even when he's against the others, it's all for the sake of wanting to be friends with them, just not really knowing how. Next to that is, again, the side characters, to which this is probably some of the best writing for romance in fiction I've seen so far. Some character pairs are obvious, but others, the show actually makes you feel like it rewards you for paying attention. Like those smaller interactions in every episode actually paying off. And that's something I think is probably a detail a lot of kids will miss, but if you're around my age or so, yeah, they are nice touches. The show from top to bottom, for the most part, actually has a lot of its good writing pay off. So much so that some of the more specific moments or events that happen in the later half, feeling like they don't hit as much as they should, feel overshadowed by how good this show actually is. Which, regarding the later half, I'm just gonna say it. Luce's death wasn't that impactful to me.
Excuse me, what the fuck?
What?
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 You fucking what, mate?
Nani? What? What the fuck?
Wait, what?
What?
Not because she had died, but because it's been done so much in the past. The character dying and eventually getting a second chance and comes back with powers. At this point, it's a cliche, especially when you consider this is a show intended for kids. And ultimately, well, the scene itself I don't think hits as hard as the story would want it to. I really do think the Collector's reactions actually sell it so much better than if it was just the death scene. You can disagree if you want, but yeah, when you tell me an on-screen death of a main character happens on a Disney show in current day, I immediately guess they come back eventually. Now, having a character actually experience grief for the first time, now that actually is a good move to sell the moment. Like with The Lion King. Yeah, showing Mufasa's body is hardcore and it's genuinely sad. But the fact that Simba actually had to come to that realization makes the moment to me, hit that much harder. Going to those lengths in the Owl House, despite being a Disney show, is pretty commendable. The show doesn't get incredibly graphic or glorify death much, but for how they handle moments like these, it is what it is. But even with saying that, holy shit, does this series have a body count? The whole reveal with the trappers is fucking gruesome, and that's not even including them trying to kill King for being the last Titan. Did I not mention that? That King's a Titan? Yeah, for as much mystery as his story is, King being a Titan pieced a lot of the puzzle together for so much of the story's lore. And in its own way, I do feel like it came as this genuine shock due to the world they're in. You got demons of different races all together, and the Skull Pup is the Demon Lord. But, like I said, the fact that this cult has just everyone wearing dead Titan body parts and showing Titan bones is graphic on so many levels that I'm surprised that they got away with pulling that off. But at the same time, shows like Gravity Falls got away with stuff like this.
Dude, you're laying on my bra.
So I don't think I should be surprised. And in terms of graphic, Bellus's deformed, rotting body is just up there, which feels 100% like they got away with mangling and deteriorating it because it wasn't red. But aside from that, this thing looks so fucking metal. The way it shifts around, the sounds of the bones, it just emulates the word monster perfectly. I do like the story that they were leading with, it's just a shame we didn't get much except for what we did in his past and with Hunter. And then there's the magic. For a system that is just commonplace in fantasy stories, them actually showing how they use it alongside them experimenting with the language of the Titans was actually really good to me, and it helps that the story actually cripples one of its strongest characters. There's actually a video that went into this subject, you can watch it if you like, but basically, Ida being this magicless witch by the end of the first season was probably one of the best things to happen to her character, alongside Lilith. In place of her being this savant of a mage came a story around a woman dealing with a matter that she's been stuck with most of her life. And also a new Gens Furry awakening, let's be honest.
Whoa. Oh, girl. This is a hot look.
I know I mentioned it prior, but Wendy Malick as Ada was such a good choice for an actress. She just brings this simple, smug, exhausted, yet affectionate atmosphere to the character, and it never feels off.
He's like a little tea kettle. You were defeated. Don't get heated. Get your stank face treated. It just goes on like this for an hour. Did you read my diary?
I know the writing plays a big part in her character, but the voice acting really sells it. It's like hearing James Woods as Hades or Patrick Warburton as Kronk. The writing's fine, but that acting, the inflections, delivery just really sells it.
Don't you have family stuff to clear up? Also, I heard about the factory incident with Luce. I've got my eyes on you, Blight.
Like again, the acting is just so good in this. There's a reason why there are so many quotable lines out of this. But magic being more of a biological privilege in a story where the main character doesn't have that, adds this layer around the narrative about how hard work and effort actually pay off. I also like that they went the sort of Miyazaki route of having the strange be normal. Like how Kiki in Kiki's Delivery Service being a witch is surprising to people, but they don't really mind it. Luce being a human is different, but for the most part, nobody really hates her for it. On the contrary sometimes. Speaking of, I think I want to top this cake with icing by addressing the elephant in the room. The lesbian and bi-power couple.
I think I'm in love with you.
You mean as friends?
I mean, for real. Because you're like the coolest person I've ever met. And you don't even have to try.
I try really hard, actually.
I think the way it's written and told is genuinely some of the best writing around a romantic subplot. While they start off pretty bad, like Amity is honestly pretty stuck up early on, but as time goes on, both her and her background... Okay, it doesn't excuse how she was, but it does explain a bit. Between hating Luce, thinking she just relied on privilege, to learning that she's actually trying and even willing to talk to her normally, to learning why she cut ties with Willow, From her secretly developing this one-sided crush over Luz, to Luz starting to feel the same over how cool she sees Amity. From both of them confessing to them going on adventures together and even supporting one another. There's a fine line between a well-written couple that's also not straight, and a couple that's not straight. And the fact that it's the former, I think, really is a testament to the writing and the characters. Have I mentioned at any point that this show was too good for Disney? I feel like I should have. Also, I think the show's message and narrative around being able to choose your future and working for it really shouldn't be undersold. With how much media and fantasy loves to give the characters the illusion of choice, the Owl House breaking away from that to actually give characters a choice of their own volition is commendable on so many levels. Being the hero can be great, but when you're no different than a tool to be used in necessity, it can easily dawn on the hero just how little agency they actually have when they're not needed. That to me is what makes fantasy stories at times feel so stuck in a loop, because ironically, it's not about you as it is the world. That's why most protagonists in fiction like this are silent, or bland, or generic. Because they don't actually need you, they just need someone to fill that role. But with the Owl House actually pushing for making your own and coming to a role as such as this, it brings to light a better message on how the world doesn't need you, but you need the world. I don't really have anything else to close on that'll top that, so I'll opt for what I said at the start. The Owl House is my favorite Disney show. Probably ever.
Do not underestimate me, Gildersnake, for I am Luce, the human, warrior of peace. Now eat this, sucker!
She'd be hot if she didn't have pigtails.
You don't like pigtails?
Pigtails are gross as fuck.
You're weird. Dude, what are you supposed to grab onto?
Just the fucking hair. Or the ass. Anything.
Is that how your girlfriend rides you?